tomorrow really does not exist, because even when it gets here, it's today. So all you have is today to do the things that you say you want to do.
Hey guys, we are back with another episode. Hey,
Hi.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good girl. I'm excited for our show today. We have so much to talk about. I'm so excited. I feel like I'm going back to school and I'm not.
Right.
But I feel like all the kids, my brother and sister, like family and friends, all they're talking about is back to school time.
Back to school, back to school, back to school. Oh my God. That's all I've been seeing all over social media, as well as like having like family members and stuff going back to school. But this is exciting for me. I feel like I'm going back to school as an adult. Just like watching everybody else like get into their routines and buy school supplies, like that. And there's no better feeling than buying school supplies.
That's like my favorite thing. Like I love school supplies. And honestly, I think it's perfect that we're talking about this because it's a brand new month and I just feel like it's like newness. I love the feeling of like a new thing. So it's like a new school year, a new month, a new season. Like it just makes you feel refreshed. And it's almost like you said, I feel like I'm going back to school because girl, it's the fourth quarter, so we got work to do, okay? We have a lot of things we have to lock in on, and I know we're going to touch more on that, so make sure you guys keep listening to the show. But I just feel like this is the season for that. So like you said, I feel like I'm going back to school too. Like I'm getting my supplies, I'm going to get my pen and paper, I'm getting new things so that I'm taking my own classes.
Speaking of new things, we've got some new reviews. Do you want to read one?
Absolutely. Yes. So we love getting reviews on the show. Make sure you guys are writing your reviews so you can possibly hear yours as we shout you out. So this review says, "This is exactly what I need in the middle of the week. Positivity and entertainment to get me through."
Love
Yes.
it.
I love it. We are your go-to girlies for that. We're going to give you the positive, the entertainment, and a little joke because I think we're funny. I think we're hilarious.
The people be
I
saying
don't-
we funny. They
I
really
think
do.
we're funny.
And I've always thought we were.
I always thought that too. We're gonna give you a little hot take here and there. Like I love that you guys are enjoying the podcast. It means that we knew that we were doing something, but like it really just makes us feel like we are really doing something and it's being received well because you guys are commenting and liking the show. So again, if you're loving the podcast, make sure you leave a review or comments, likes. Talk to us, y'all. We talk back, and we also have SpeakPipe. So if you don't know what SpeakPipe is, it's a way for you to leave a message. If you need some advice, questions, you want to make a comment, you want us to talk about something on our show, leave us a message. You can do it anonymously if you like. Head on over to elevators.com and leave us a SpeakPipe message. We'd love to hear from you.
And make sure you subscribe.
That's right. Okay, so as we're talking about back to school, girl, I cannot help but think where I was and how it felt when I was getting ready for back to school. Do you remember like that feeling like that night before school where you like couldn't sleep? The clothes were freshly pressed, laid on the bed next to you, like you couldn't wait to put on that fresh pair of sneakers.
Yo, that's something about them. The new Uptowns waiting. They was there with the socks in them and everything. There's nothing like the first day of school having a fresh fit, because everybody know that's the number one thing. I think for like kids, it's like you got to make sure you got a fresh outfit. So for
Yeah.
me, I think that's the one thing I was constantly like thinking about as we were heading into school, especially school supplies though. I've always loved like getting the school supplies and just making sure that I was organized and like that sort of stuff. So I think between the school supplies and like making sure I had some outfits, not only my day one, but I had day 2, day 3, day 4, and day 5 set up for the whole week.
Okay, I was gonna say that. That's good that you had multiple days because I was gonna say sometimes, you got to hit them with the fresh outfit because, later on in the school year, it may not be as fresh. Like later on in the school
So
year,
you were using
your parents ain't getting, and back in those days, they had layaway. They probably didn't get the layaway items yet. So it's like, you're gonna
layaway.
get the best outfit on day one.
Yo, my mom used to lie to me. We would go like shopping and stuff, and like I would pick out like Levi's and like what is it, like, unlimited cheese and all that sh and then we would
Unlimited!
yes,
Oh my
and she would
gosh.
get to the register, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I want this so bad," and she was like, "It's fine, just leave it there, I put it on layaway." Baby, I ain't never seen it again. She would lie to me. I would put on the counter thinking, "Ooh, Imma wear this with this, blah, blah, blah." Nope. But
So for people who don't know, because listen, when we have this
who
show and we
don't
talk
know
about
about
these
layaway?
things, no, but Crystal, I promise you, I feel so bad for the new generation because there's things that we experienced growing up that you guys know nothing about and you'll never know anything about. Y'all have Klarna. We didn't have Klarna. Layaway was our Klarna. Okay. But layaway, you had to put a little percentage down. So how it worked was the stores had like a section where you had to put a little percentage of the total balance of what that would cost if you were gonna take it. And then a lot of times, like our parents were waiting for like their checks to, come in from their jobs to be able to get the funds to pay for it. So it's like you would lay it away, like you would put it down. But the thing is, with layaway, if you didn't pick up your stuff in 30 days, that layaway going back on them shelves. So
Right, wait, no, but so it was like credit cards before credit cards.
yeah,
They would not let you leave without the with the product until you paid.
that part,
But now we have
that
credit
part.
cards, so they could hold us accountable, and they still gotta come for us, even if
Yes. Oh my goodness. I miss like going to that layaway counter with my mom when you knew that item was coming. You were like, oh, we can pick up our stuff today. But girl, I miss that feeling when you used to get your hair done and you got to make sure you were super fresh. Girl, do you remember the shows? Like, let's talk about the shows we watched growing up. I'm talking like elementary, middle school. But then also when you had played sick and you stayed home, there were different shows you watched during that time too. Do you remember like the shows you used to watch?
no, literally. First of all, after you got over, like, the first, like, wave of, like, excitement of being back to school, then came the wave of, like, okay, what is everybody watching when they get home after they do their homework? And I used to be so excited to run home and watch, like, a bunch of Disney Channel and a bunch of Nickelodeon. I used to watch a lot of As Told by Ginger, Hey Arnold.
Classics.
I used to watch
Wild Thornberries? Did you watch the Wild Thornberries?
Thornberries. Oh my god, Wild Thornberries. Rocket Power was my girl.
Really?
Rocket Power
Did you
and
watch the what is it, Fairy Odd Parents? Fairy
yes, I used to watch
Godparents?
The
Fairy
Very
Odd
Odd
Parents?
Parents, and as I got older to, like, 6th and 7th grade and 8th grade, I started watching more, like, Disney, like, Lizzie McGuire, That's So Raven, like, oh my god, there is nothing in this world that can duplicate the feeling of being a kid, finishing homework, and watching your favorite shows after.
You cannot
It
like, you cannot describe that feeling to kids these days. Like, how do we describe all that? How do we describe, like you said, Alex Mack, Keenan and Kel? How do we describe that to the youth these days? Like, we can't describe like, if I say, "Who loves orange soda?" Like, do you know what I'm talking about? Hear
If
you.
I say Good Burger, what do you say? Home of the Good Burger, "Can I take your order?" Like, come on, the kids are never gonna know that.
They know nothing about that. Like, oh my goodness, you brought me back. Like, I used to watch all those shows that you mentioned. So yeah, that was like Nickelodeon. There's no Nick at Night anymore. Oh my God, Cartoon Network, all of that. I remember, oh my goodness, you know what I was just thought about? One Saturday morning. Do you remember that?
No. Like, Saturday mornings in general or, like
Yes. So ABC used to have like one Saturday morning and they would have recess. They had like all these cartoons that would play Saturday
yes, like the
morning
yellow
as a
school
kid.
bus or, like, Magic School Bus,
Yes,
something like that.
and you would literally get your bowl of cereal and be right in front of the TV, and it was, like, on from, like, I think, like, 9:30 to, like, 11 o'clock. Who remembers that? Who remembers one Saturday morning? Oh my gosh, that was a time, but I think I was watching those type of shows, but as I got older, like you mentioned as well, I turned into, like, the Moeshas and, um just like those type of shows, like Fresh
Mhm.
Prince, Martin, I was in my grown teenage era, so I would, like, watch a lot of those shows, but sick days, I thought about Imma bring y'all back. I used to watch soap operas when you stayed home and you played sick. Do you remember Passions?
I've never even heard that. What is that?
Oh my gosh, Passions was like a soap opera, then they had, oh my god, was it Days of Our Lives? Like, all those, like, soap operas that, like, your mom used to watch, like, in the middle of the day. Like, I think it was, like, The View came on, and then soap operas came on, like, for half of the day, like, in
Not
the
gonna
middle of the,
lie,
like
if I played hooky, I was watching, like, Maury. It's so bad because there was no, like, kid,
Maury,
no
Maury. moly.
literally a legend. There was no kid programming in the middle of the day that was happening. Oh, you know what else I used to watch? Oh my goodness. The one thing I did watch that was kinda like soap opera-y is this, guy called Walter Mercado, and it was like Walter Mercado, whatever.
Mhm.
And he did, like, horoscopes and, like, fake, like, card reading on camera, and my grandma used to watch him all the time. She used to be like, "You see? Yep, Aries, yep." Like,
So
I was
he
in
was
the
the
3rd grade.
Hispanic version he was the Hispanic version of Miss Cleo, it sounds like.
Yes. Yes. Walter
That is hilarious.
Mercado. Oh my goodness, and he, like,
I
had
love how you said
blonde hair.
Walter Mercado. I love how you said
Walter
that. You were like,
Mercado.
Walter.
I was stumbling before, girl. But he had, like, blonde hair, and he would come on so serious, and it was very much giving ASMR before ASMR was a thing, and
Really?
my grandma used to watch him all the time. So that's, like, the one, like, sort of, like, soap opera-y kinda
They
thing,
used to watch.
but
Yeah.
it was Maury, it was, Oprah, just a
Mhm.
bunch of daytime
Same.
stuff that I was not supposed to be watching.
Girl, Ricky Lake, Montel Williams, like, all of that, like and shout out to those shows because they, like, kind of inspired, like, for me, like, a lot of, like, me wanting to kinda get into, like, television, especially, like, Oprah, oh my goodness, like, so I love that we had that because like, girl, think about it, these days, they have talk shows now, but, like, they're not out there. They're, like, a few and far between.
Like, they don't have a TV guide to have to select from. The
Ooh,
opportunities for
TV
kids are
Guide.
endless. Yes,
Yeah. Like, I love that we came up during that generation where we were able to, like, watch all those shows, like, oh my goodness. I have to add 106 & Park too, it's love running home to watch,
of course,
106. Yes.
classic. That was a classic, classic.
Okay, so we talk about shows, let's talk about girl, I wanna know what snacks you were eating. What snacks were you eating when you came home from school? I'm thinking of my right now, like, I'm still a snack
Girl,
girl to this day, and I
you are
think
snack girl.
a snack is always next to me. Like, I think I developed my snacking skills from a kid because I was a menace in that grocery store. I wanted the Lunchables. Don't let there be a new Lunchables. I wanted the pizza. I wanted the ham, turkey. I wanted all the Lunchables, the Capri Suns, like the fruit roll-ups. Do you remember those snacks? And you were in New York, so you had like I know y'all stores had all the snacks.
We
Like
had
I wish we had that
we
in our
had
bodega.
FDA denied snacks, okay? Like, we had the worst snacks ever, and especially in the corner store, like, on our way to school, we used to make our parents, like, stop for a butter bagel and then grab some snacks, like UTZ chips, loved Lunchables. Oh my god, when I tell you, I was obsessed with Lunchables, and now in retrospect, I could see why my grandmother used to have to drag me out the supermarket because I used to beg for them so bad, but I'm sure she knew how bad they were for you, and she was like, "You cannot eat this every day."
Mhm.
That's kinda crazy. But
Yeah.
I still love Lunchables to this day, and I mostly the pizza one, and I'm not heating it up. I don't care.
Oh my goodness. I ate the pizza one cold too. Oh my god, do you remember kid cuisine? TV dinners. Like, I think kids don't eat TV dinners. I used to eat
Don't eat
TV
enough TV
dinners.
dinners, yo.
Yo, TV dinners were horrible for you, but I had kid cuisine. There was, like, the lean in something. Like, I was a TV dinner kitty. I was gonna say girly kitty growing up.
Girl, so bad. Yes, lunch for me also was very exciting. I would be very excited, like, at the top half of the year and, like, sort of, like, pack lunch or, like, have my mom pack lunch for the week, but then
Mhm.
after a while, kinda, like, obviously faded out because we used to get free lunch food, so I didn't mind
Mm.
food sometimes. I would have like, they used to give us, like, this fish with cheese that was really good, like, everybody used to low key like it, but everybody also used to, like, side eye anybody who was eating it, and after a certain point, I was like, "I don't give a damn if y'all judging me about eating this fish because it's good." But I used to love the fish, they used to give us cheeseburgers, some nasty pizza that I used to dog, girl. Oh my god, oh my god, school lunch was also a vibe. It was definitely a vibe.
Yeah, you that actually I wanna segue to our unfiltered topic because I wanted to talk to you about this. Cause girl, free lunches in South Florida are over. Like,
What
it's done.
what do you
Yeah.
mean?
So let's get into our unfiltered segment. So basically, there was a bill passed where, and I'm gonna actually read something from you guys. So if you see me looking down, I'm reading something for you guys. But yeah. So back in, I want to say like in July, or earlier this summer, Congress passed a bill that threatened school meal access for students across the country. The Senate basically had a 51 and 50 vote where fewer children are automatically eligible for free school meals as families lose SNAP and Medicaid benefits. So I think that if you don't have like a certain type of assistance from the government, you can't have free lunch. And honestly, like this really upsets me because I have a little brother, a little brother and little sister. They're in middle school now, and they're very aware of like kids, and I'm, also like just listening to like conversations that they have. Some of these kids, the meals they get from school may be the only meal they have. Like some kids are not fortunate enough to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner at home. Some kids, when they come to school, what they eat at school is the food that they'll have for their entire days. To think that a government that's supposed to be set up to do things for society and human beings to live a better life and just to be able to have basic necessities, take something like that away from children just is super like heartbreaking. Like it's disgusting,
No,
really.
that's crazy. And just because you're not on SNAP and all these other government programs doesn't necessarily mean that you're not struggling. Like you could still be figuring out how to make ends meet without being on those programs. So like for example, if, my mom made quote unquote too much money to get food stamps, that doesn't mean we were living good and we could afford to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner from my house. You get what I'm saying? Like not me particularly, but generally speaking, just because you don't qualify for those programs doesn't necessarily mean you are well off and you are good to not have free lunch, to your point. I will though say I guess the silver lining in this for me is like aside from the fact that it is financially obviously it's just bad because the whole thing is bad. You think about where taxes go and where we spend money and how we spend so much money on certain countries that I will not say, but we don't have more than half of those resources for ourselves here. um, it's just a mess in general, right? But then I
Hmm.
will say the silver lining of this could be for the kids who can afford it, but their parents, just need to take an extra 30 minutes in the morning to make breakfast and lunch. At least your kid is gonna get healthier food. What I will say
Mm.
this is that I think this is one of those systemic things that we talk about a lot is that obviously, and we kind of talked about this in one of our other episodes where we talk about how what you pay is what you get. So sometimes that's even down to the food. And the kids who don't have as much money, or their families don't come from money and they're on government assistance and all that stuff, they're eating more poor quality food. And it's almost like, what is it called? There's something literally, it's called something specific, but it's like where you are impacted based on your economic status, like your health.
Socioeconomic, like,
Yes. Like, it's
okay.
like a socioeconomic thing where yeah, so now all the kids who couldn't really afford a meal outside of school now are eating terrible food, and it's affecting their health, and it's like it kinda, like, puts them in this hamster wheel of a bunch of different health issues and economic issues and, like, keeps them in a sorta, like, poverty wheel. You get what I'm trying to say? Which is
Absolutely.
terrible. And then the other kids, they'll be eating healthier food because their parents are gonna be cooking at home, or they ain't gonna be eating nothing.
So
Which
I
is
don't know if I'm gonna actually also want to mention this because I don't know if you've seen this one as well, but this is also a part of this could be a part of the our unfiltered conversation is the U.S. Department of Agriculture also slashed millions of dollars in funding to help schools buy food from local farms. Basically, the department had like $660 million that they slashed for, I guess, a budget that they had where they would buy food from like local farm and agriculture, which also boosts that
economy. Right.
economy, right? So they slashed buying local food, which means essentially the schools would be provided fresher foods from local farms. But now they're using that money and paying bigger corporations. So it's like instead of getting fresh lettuce from your farm here, it's you pay a corporation that's gonna get some, you don't know, processed lettuce or whatever it could be, which is just sad all around. Like, so, girl, I gotta pray for these kids 'cause
It's literally attack on poor people's health,
yeah,
starting from their
it's
kids.
really sad. It's
And
really
then
sad.
we already know how that goes. When your kids have kids, now you have genetics that are passed down and issues that are passed down. I am a fake conspiracist when it comes to certain things like that. I think a lot of things that we deal with and a lot of things that we see today was started from generations before us, like down to how much autism is happening, down to
Mm.
um, just, like, more health issues, how much asthma is, like, a thing now. Granted, asthma all these different things, right? Like, I'm not
High
saying
blood pressure, diabetes.
yes,
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're exactly all tied to,
Mhm.
um, like, generations before them. It could be from, like, current present issues that we're dealing with, whether it's the air or the vaccines, whatever, but
And food.
think it's a lot of the food and how we
Mhm.
consume food over time, and then we pass those things down to kids, and they pass it down to their kids. Next thing you know, it's this new thing that that new generation is dealing with that we had no idea really stemmed from us and the way we were eating.
Yeah.
I'm a little conspiracy follow. That's
But yeah, that was the unfiltered chat that I wanted to have with you guys because I just think that we should just be really aware, especially now more than ever with like what's happening like in our government, how it affects us, kids in our lives, our parents, our family and friends that we love because like it's just good to know those things. But
that's
girl,
crazy.
yeah, it's honestly just really sad.
You know, all this school stuff though makes me think about my student loans, which by the way, I have a student loan hack to help you guys cut down your student loans quickly and efficiently, so make sure you stay tuned for that.
Ooh,
But
I'm
yeah,
excited for that.
so all this like watching all these kids like go back to school for me makes me think about like I don't have any kids. I don't have to work as hard. But like watching the aunties and uncles on social media right now, they're talking about the great lock-in, which is from September
Mhm.
to December. Have you seen people talking about that?
No.
So the kids are going back to school. The aunties and the uncles and the parents, they apparently are taking part in a great lock-in, which is 4 months of a consistent period of locking in every day. And that
Mm.
looks very different for everybody. And the rules are you're not to take more than 1 day off for something, not 2 days in a row. Does that make sense? So like you cannot miss something back to back for 2 days straight.
Mhm.
Or 1 day is the max you can miss per week. And then it also looks like choosing your plan over your mood consistently. So what that means is
Love
like
that.
sometimes we wake up and we're like feeling moody about something. And those days you have to make a very conscious decision to constantly choose the plan over the mood. So
Ooh.
what that looks like for you could be very different. It could be about the gym. It could be about making content. It could be about saving X amount of dollars per week. But the great lock in apparently is where like people are seeing the most progression they've ever seen in their lives after doing things consistently for a 4 month period. And I'm
I
excited.
love that.
I think I'm gonna do it.
That. I actually wanna do it, like, just hearing you talk about what the lock-in means, I'm like, that's what I was thinking that it was gonna be, and I'm
Mhm.
like, I wanna lock in, and honestly, I love that we're having this conversation because it's the start of a new month, you guys know I love new starts, it's the start of a new month, but I do feel like this is the last quarter of the year, so it's only right for us to be locking in, and honestly, I think people work the hardest the last quarter of the year because I think that people realize, okay, I had all these goals that I had at the top of the year. The year's coming to a close. What are the results of that? Or what have I not started that told myself I was going to start? So I love the idea of a lock in. What are some ways I'm trying to think like ways that we can do this together? Cause I'm like, I want to do
Yes.
this.
So that's what I was gonna say. I feel like, first of all, we should do it together and
Yes.
have an accountability segment. And it doesn't gotta
I
be a whole
love that.
it could be for our
Yeah.
listeners, like just checking in with y'all and seeing, like, did you check off everything on your to-do list the way you were supposed to, on your lock-in list, on your lock-in plan? And then
I
every
love
week
that.
we'll take a moment to just recap what you did, what you didn't do, and how you're gonna do better next week, and how we're gonna keep progressing. So yeah, let's do the great lock-in together, y'all. This gonna be fun.
Let's do the lock-in. I want us all to do this, and you know what? I was gonna also say, Crystal, I'm sure you remember this. Crystal and I did something, I think, at first, and the app I don't know what the app is called, but we both were talking about how consistent we wanted to be with posting on TikTok, and there's, like, a habit tracker app, and she and I both shared our habits, and every time we posted, we checked it off. So it's like something that you can physically see, okay, I missed a mark here, but let me go back and do it, which I think was an amazing thing because like she would get the notification, I would get the notification, and I'd be like, okay, Crystal posted, I gotta post. Like, and I
Yeah.
just think it's really good to one, be with like-minded friends and people who are like gonna hold you accountable. Like Crystal literally was like, girl, where's your posted and go up. And I love that. Like sometimes you need people that aren't gonna just be like a yes woman or a yes man and literally see you fail. Like there are people who love you that want to see you win, and those are the people you need to surround yourself with. So I want to say publicly, I appreciated that we did that because I still need to see more growth on my TikTok, but I do think that
You stop checking your days off, honey.
I know. I do need to check those dates. I mean, I might need to go back to that. And shout out to you because did we hit 100K yet? Like,
Almost. We at 99. We at 99. I kind of
we
slacked a
gonna hit
little.
100K. My girl been consistent over there. So I love that. Let's lock in. I'm probably gonna go back to doing some stuff like that too. So I would love for us to do that together.
Yeah,
So you
we
guys
might
join
need to
us.
get back on that app, girl.
Yes, we do. We do.
Um, but yeah, so I'm excited about that. Let's do the great lock-in together. And then another thing is, like I said, like seeing everybody going back to school and stuff is making me think about student loans. And like, I just feel like we all have so much access and resources now in the palm of our hands, and we should use those things as we see fit. And for me, I love using AI for like finances because it's the most accurate thing ever. Like it's the most accurate calculator, right? Like a lot of times you can ask it about this, like life stuff, and it's like, at the end of the day, it's still a computer, so you have to take things with a grain of salt. But when it comes to finances, my finances, honey,
Mhm.
it's just so accurate. And so what I did, I put together a ChatGPT prompt to help you guys bring down your student loans. So I'm going to read you guys the prompt, and of course, all the blanks you have to fill in with your own, like obviously individual custom numbers. So you're going to tell ChatGPT this. I have X amount of dollars in student loans at Y% interest with the minimum monthly payment of blank dollars. I can add blank dollars extra each month and expect about blank dollars yearly in lump sums. Create a payoff plan showing timeline, interest saved, and whether an avalanche or snowball method is better for me. Include strategies to speed up repayment. And just to explain a little more, so that's the prompt, but an avalanche versus a snowball is like two different types of ways you can pay things off. Avalanche is obviously where it is exactly what it sounds like. It just like you just dump a lot in there as much as you can. And then snowball is a sort of a snowball effect. You do little by little and it grows over time. So not only is it gonna help you cut your payments down, but it's also gonna tell you the type of like person you are in terms of like paying things off and your financial situation, whether avalanche is better for you or snowballing over time is better for you. And then it's going to tell you how much money you're saving. And for me, I love that.
Wow.
Like, I love being able to look at a graph and say, okay, if I do it like this, I'm going to save this amount of dollars. If I do it like that, I'm going to save that amount of dollars, so on and so forth. So, guys, please use that prompt for anything and everything, even if it's just the bills you're looking at every single month. If you're writing out your bills and you're like, okay, I spend all this money on this, what formula should I actually be using to save money or to invest money and so on and so forth. I like to use ChatGPT sometimes as like a low key CPA. Obviously, you need a real one
That's
at some
awesome.
point, but
Yeah.
use it while you can because honestly, how is it not going to be accurate? it's a computer. It's calculating numbers. It's gonna be the most accurate. In fact, humans are gonna make more mistakes. So yeah, use it, and I hope that helps.
That was such an amazing tip. I'm literally gonna take that, copy it, and try to figure it out. Because I was just thinking, I'm glad that you said it was like not just for student loans, because like you could think about it for like credit cards, because like things that have interest that build over time. Credit
Yes,
card, if you have a card that you lease that you're paying for, like you can literally put that prompt in and get that back. That was You ate that up. That was good.
yes, yes,
I
y'all.
love
Use
that.
ChatGPT. We have the resources, so we don't have any excuses. We're out of excuses, but we are with resources, so use them.
Yo, this made me really feel like I'm going back to school, because I'm like, honestly, we have work to do every day. Like this is definitely life is a class. Like every
Life
day.
is a
Like
class.
there's life is a class. Like every day there's something that you need to figure out and you need to take a lesson on, and I'm here for it. Just
Honestly,
listen.
I it's so funny you say life is a class because yes, it is, and I've also been thinking about going back to class.
Really?
I talk to my boyfriend all the time about how eventually I want to go to law school. Like before entertainment like really clicked for me and like being a media correspondent clicked for me, I wanted to be a lawyer. And you know I eat that up. Eat the dick. He
I'll
knows.
I'll
Um,
hire
like yeah,
listen, I'll hire you.
right.
I'll let you represent me in court any day.
And I just want to encourage our listeners to seek higher education. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go back to school, right? But like taking a course, a professional course from a professional person, um, to learn something new, and if not learn something new, to sharpen your current skills so that you could go get paid more, and you can also write that stuff off. We talked about this in the past, but like taking higher education courses can be written off on your taxes. So
Mm.
that in mind. I'm just gonna encourage y'all. I know I'm not doing it right now, but eventually I do wanna go back to school and get a higher education. Maybe when I'm done with these student loans, I could rack up some other student loans. But yeah, so seeing everybody go back to school just reminds me like, yeah, I'm gonna be there one day. I'm going back. I'm gonna go get my law degree. So I'd be like, I am the family attorney. Okay.
I love that you said that, because also for me, before like doing like my media thing, I wanted to go back to school for like medical stuff. So I love that you said that, because I was even talking to one of my best friends the other day, and she was like, "Girl, you can go back to school." She's like, "You literally can finish this in like 2 to 4 years and have another career." I love that we are the generation where we are consistently reinventing ourselves. And literally you can have multiple careers. You Who said you only had to be one thing? Like you can be a lawyer, like Crystal wants to go back to school. You can be a doctor if you want to go back to school. I think having the degree is amazing, but like you can have multiple. Like it's okay to
You
like
get multiple lives.
fall in and out of different careers. Yeah. So
Yes.
so many people live different lives. Even when you think about doctors, a lot of people who are doctors are typically they get their like degree. I have to do some research to see what on average it is, but a lot of them are like in their 40s and 50s. That means they had a whole different potentially career and lived a whole different life before they went to medical school. Like, so I think that's incredible. Like, I think that it's really dope that we can consistently do that. So I always will stress that as well, like higher education. And also, as we're
You know,
talking about locking in and doing these types of things, other things to consider too is try to find ways to learn something new, even if it's like you getting an audiobook or you're tapping into like YouTube University to learn how to do something that you've been wanting to learn for the longest. Like there's so many resources that you can pay and that are free for you to learn something. As your kids are going back to school, moms and dads and people who are parent figures, also go back to school with them. Like do things that are going to enhance your education all around.
in your life. I will have to say, I think college was my favorite part of my like school career. College for me really did it. And I also loved walking into classrooms and seeing people of different ages. Like that was the first time I ever walked into a classroom and I had somebody who was like 50 or 60 in there and I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, shoot. Like that's kind of crazy, but also that's kind of cool." Like
Yeah.
you literally just walk into the world when you go into college, and that was the my favorite part of my school career. So for any college listeners who might be listening, I hope you guys find our podcast interesting and helpful. But one thing I want to recommend is that if you are listening and you are in college, please take your internship credits. Use them, especially if you are in your senior year. That is how you are going to land a position in your career field. Please take it because you're going to pay for the credits anyways. So I don't know how much school costs now, but when I was in school, like 3 credits used to cost like $900, right? So instead of paying $900 to take an art class, pay $900, get those credits, and use it for an internship. Because a lot of times companies won't let you intern without being able to receive credit. So please just go work, get the credit, get the experience, and get your foot in the door. It's the easiest way to land a job in your career field. Hope this helps.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I got my first job out of college from interning and
Mhm.
then working consistently after the internship. Like, girl, that's how I got my job at BET. Like, I
Same.
literally interned at BET when I was in college. And then they still have PAs. So, like, PA is a production assistant, for those who don't know what the term is. So I was a PA after my internship at, like, several different award shows. I was like, anytime that I had a break in my schedule with school, I never took summers to, like, go have fun. And, don't get me wrong, I had fun with my friends. Like, we did fun things and took trips and stuff, but I never, like, let that consume my whole entire break. Like, I would
Mhm.
find ways to, like, make some money or to be a PA, and then literally that week after I graduated, I got a job. So I'm like, the formula works every time. But don't
Every
go in that internship playing games. Don't go in the internship trying to grab coffee. Literally try to figure out, as an intern, your goal should always be, if I'm not here, I want these people to need me to be here. So find out how you
Mhm.
can be an asset, like what you can do to make people's lives better. And I feel like because you're young and you're fresh, a lot of the time, some people are seasoned in these industries that you may fall into. There's things that you can teach them sometimes. There's things that they can learn from you. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
definitely do that.
Especially when I was interning at BT, they leaned on us so much for like, okay, who's hot? What are y'all talking about these days? Like, we were literally the pulse of the company in a very good way. Obviously, they stood young, they stood fresh, they stood hip. Like, y'all don't realize when you are in there, you are very needed, but you're as needed as much as you make yourself to be needed. So
Mhm.
clock it.
Always leave a lasting impression. You want people to be like, "Where happened to Crystal and Amanda? We need her back. She was an amazing intern." Like, I still have mentors from when I was interning at places that they still call me their intern, and it's like we're in the same it's like now we're in the same industry now, but I think it's like, I'm not your intern anymore. I'm like, but it's so dope though, because when you think about it, it's like, and you develop so many good professional relationships from internships.
Another advice I would say is, like, those kids you intern with, your peers, they're the ones who's gonna take over those CEO spots, okay? Because life happens,
Facts.
people pass, people move on, they are gonna be the executives, so make sure you're making friends with the people left and right. A lot of times, we are trying to network up when the reality is networking up is cool, but the real people that's gonna be by your side when you are climbing the ladder are the same people who are by your side right now. So make sure you're making friends and relationships with those sort of people.
I love that you said that. Yes, definitely stay in contact with the people that you intern with, because I literally have a picture of all the people I interned with when I was in New York for my internship with Viacom, and I can point and be like, "Oh, my girl here, she works at Essence. My girl here, she's at R29. My girl here is this." Like, there's like different places that they work. Oh, she works for HBO, or she works at CNN, or she works, like, it's incredible. So, like, keep in
Mhm.
contact with people on social, emails, like, drop in, just try to see how people are doing, because you never know that internship that you took could be your job, but also one of your peers can give you a job. You never know.
On that note, I feel like we need to drop a little elevation message and close it out. I
We
have one.
definitely need that.
Yes.
Okay, what's
So
yours?
I'm sorta gonna echo something that I've heard this week, and I was like, "Oh my god, I need to share this message on the podcast because it resonated so much with me." I was listening to a sermon, and when I tell you the pastor was preaching, and he was preaching, and even if you're not religious and you're just, like, listening in, listen to what I gotta say. Today's the day, and that's the foundation of this. But he was talking about how tomorrow actually doesn't exist. We only have today. We're always saying tomorrow do this. Tomorrow I'm going to do that. Tomorrow, 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 but the reality is even when tomorrow gets here, what is it called? Today. So we keep waiting for these tomorrows and they literally don't exist. If you have something that you want to do, today is the only day. And he was talking about how like it's a little arrogant to constantly be like, "Okay, see you tomorrow, see you later," because it's like, who are you and who are you to say that that is even a real thing? So, in terms
Mm,
of your goals and the things that you want to get done in life, hearing that really wired me like, "Yo, that's so crazy." Like, philosophically, tomorrow really does not exist because even when it gets here, it's today. So, all you have is today to do the things that you say you want to do. And then he was also talking about how like we're constantly postponing our joy, right? And I was
mm.
like, I like this. Clock it. And it doesn't have to be about the joy of going outside and doing this and doing that. It could simply be the joy of waking up and being like, thank God I'm up and I'm going to have a joyful day. It don't gotta be the material things that we see online. It don't gotta be the shopping, the going out, the this, the that. It could be as simple as going in the mirror and being like, thank God for today, or thank God, or thank whoever, thank goodness I woke up and I'm joyful about
Yes.
it. And I'm gonna put joy into
Yes.
the day. I'm gonna put joy into my path, my step, my encounters with whoever I encountered today. And that was kind of like the consensus of like stop putting off your joy or stop waiting for the moment to be able to celebrate. And the celebration doesn't necessarily have to be what we are marketed. The celebration is as simple as looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, "Mm, look at me. This is
Woo.
look at us. Look at us."
Yes.
You know?
I love that. You literally are preaching one.
Girl.
And I'm so happy you said that. But it's so funny because we joke about this all the time and we're like, how we say, oh, we really are like kind of soul sisters because as we just, and I'm going to be really transparent with you guys. Crystal's like, do you have an elevation message? And I was like, I don't know if I have one for today. She's like, I got one. So I was like, okay, cool. But as she was going to say hers, I thought about something and it was literally in the same lines of this. I kid you not. I was having a conversation with a friend the other day and I was just asking him, like, he was like super inspiring and motivating. I'm like, yo, what keeps you going? And he's like, you know what's so funny? I had a conversation with somebody and he was talking to one of his friends and he was saying how the guy was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get to it tomorrow," like what Crystal was just saying. And he was like, the dude looked at him and he was just like, "How are you so sure you're gonna be here tomorrow? Like, what is it about tomorrow that you feel you have?
It's guaranteed to be yours.
How do you know? How are you so certain? Like, you could walk out of your house and God forbid, lightning strike. You don't know, like crazy things like that actually happen to people, like, unfortunately. And we really have to stop saying that word because only God has the time. Like, we don't know the time. We don't know when it is our times. Just the fact that we're able to say, oh, we're going to do this tomorrow, it's almost like you're arrogant because, like, why do you even think that you got that? Like,
Mhm,
who gave that to you? Who told you you have tomorrow? Like, you don't, like,
mhm.
how do you know that? Like, it's not something like by the grace of God, you wake up and you have tomorrow, hopefully, but like, it's a hope. Like, it's not something that you can 100% put a stamp on. So
Yes.
I
Mhm.
absolutely love that you said that. And when you say things like that to yourself, you start looking at your goals and the things that you need to accomplish and do urgently, ASAP, like now, because you're putting a timeline on something that you don't know you necessarily have the time for. Like, you don't know if you're going to be here. Hopefully you are, knock on, wood, hopefully you are here to see that. But
Right.
I do love that you're saying this message about tomorrow because
Yes.
we have today. We don't have
Yes,
tomorrow.
we only got today, girl. Tomorrow don't really exist. And
Yes.
I feel like this was just so on time, like given the whole like back to school feeling and getting into routine and getting into structure. And we're talking about the great lock in. And I'm like, yo, like I can't believe I even just like heard that sermon this week. And he was also talking
Mhm.
about like how, especially like with the, oh, we'll do this tomorrow, we'll do this tomorrow. It's like your dreams cannot come to fruition without your
Mm,
continuous action and participation.
yeah. That's facts.
Now all you
That
doing
is
is
facts.
daydreaming. Is that.
Yeah.
If that. If you ain't got no action behind what you doing, you only daydreaming. You're not,
Mm.
So
This was so timely. This was so needed. And I hope that if you're listening to this and it blessed you or it just inspired you and it motivated you and it pushed you and it gave you what you wanted, that you will share it with someone else and that you will comment, like, and let us know how you felt about this episode because I thought it was amazing. So I know if I thought that, y'all might have thought that. You may have thought that.
we thought
So
we were
definitely
great.
I think we did amazing. So, definitely share this with someone that you care about, that you would want to receive this message. Like, comment, give us all the love, and leave a speak pipe message. I would love to do a speak pipe on our next episode. So, hopefully, you guys enjoyed this one.
We'll talk soon, y'all. Bye.
Bye.
Have fun in school. Them drop offs in the morning, baby. Mm-mm.